not. That's something I learned in beauty school. You are a walking billboard, honey. You can't be a beautician walking around looking busted. You are a walking advertisement for your brand. So, I'm trying to fight the good fight against familial ops and ex-ops and frenemies. All that. And at this rate, I want the kind of justice that means people will be in jail. I don't give a fuck if it's my cousin Deontay, which I love, but you're not great to keep doing me in because you don't love me. You're lying to me. You don't love me and trying to torment me mentally, knowing I have my boys to raise. I need to be at my fullest capacity, mentally and emotionally, for them. And what you're doing is compromising that. Because what if I was in a much worse mental state due to all this? I hear all the time, I don't know why you haven't gone. I would have gone crazy. That's what people tell me. If I was going through all this, I would have been went crazy. You're very strong. It is. Pretty fearless. Heavy on the fear God only. Shit, my parents might have something to do with that. They didn't play. So it might just be in sister blood, I don't know. But definitely willing to do whatever to free me. Snitch on whoever. You know, a lot of us live by a code. No snitch. Street code. But in some instances, it's just a humane thing to do. You know, whether if I'm victim or not. And in this case, I'm victim to some shit by the hands of my very own. So you didn't give a fuck about me. Clearly you didn't give a fuck about your freedom and your future and that of your children or family, whoever you connected to. So what am I giving a fuck for? I'm going to do what I got to do. So that could mean my cousin Deontay, his parents, his sister, my cousin, and in the killing part, we're all very close. We were raised up like siblings. Pretty much. Moms is close and everything. And my mom, I told you she'd do it too. Not to mention, since Christmas, I told y'all how they did me on Christmas with the gaslight, but it was mostly my auntie over her. Talking about my kids, me, everything, y'all. No one will answer that phone for me now because I was saying how sick it was to sit there and reference my dead child that way, that I just lost the day before. And, you know, it wasn't nothing disrespectful because it was still my elders. But if I did go there, it was due. It was more than due. How dare you get mad? And I left early. I took me something to eat because I had bought a lot of crab legs and stuff with my money. I bought the bulk of that stuff. Wasn't cheap. You know. Took from my kids' mouth. And that's how you do me? Not to mention, I'm always riding for my mom. Like, that's how you do me? And then you want to try to feel disrespected? Because I comment on it? I never did address it like I could have or as disrespectful as I could have. But the fact that I said anything at all. And in the black community, I don't know about anybody else's, but I know our elders got that bad, baby. I don't care how grown you get. They can talk to you like however, and they could do you like however. You're not supposed to say nothing because respect your elders. No. I'm going to probably respectfully, more than likely, because that's just how I was raised. I'm going to get you together about me and mine. Because I don't do nothing but respect you, so I'm going to get you together. And we're going to make peace with the situation. We're going to go on. But this shit is serious. Like, my family really up. My mom. And, you know, like I said, it was conversations exposed. And one of them did entail, you know, some issues I had with her. But, like, It was never like any malicious talk. It wasn't gossipy. It was like something I knew I was going to address with her that I had been dealing with. Somebody just exposed me before I got to talk to my own mama because I thought I could trust this person. Everybody got somebody they could talk to, you know what I'm saying? Or feel like or think they could talk to about pretty much any and everything. Somebody you confide in. So it wasn't just like, oh, my mama get on my nerves. It was never that energy. But again, I guess it hit different because it got exposed publicly, obviously. That's painfully obvious. You know, all of the conversation I had about exes and all. Who we was little and, you know, these are the conversations that got exposed. And these are the very people who are following me. Not to mention today, and I did a little video, but I'm going to delete that one and just add this little tidbit to this. I told y'all that a cousin of mine is serving 40 plus years, 40 years to life or something like that, in jail because he murdered a guy. This is a distant cuz. He's so distant I can't even really tell you the boy character. How he act, none of that. Hell, I didn't know his last name was what it was. I thought he had my last name. That's how little I know. I just know that's my blood. I've seen him at a reunion or two. And I don't know if you know me, I'm a whole ass rider. You know, but I'm a fair person and right is right. Wrong is wrong. I'm like, yeah, I wish cuz wouldn't have did that. He took a life, you know, from some kids and, you know, a family that loved him. I wish he wouldn't have did that. He took his own life from his kids and a family that loves him. So it's 2 losses, major. You know what I'm saying? And I recognize that. So in my apartments, you know, I'm gonna give you a little back history real quick. I found out through a normal Google searches something totally unrelated. This was last summer, and this article just popped up on my Google search at the top of the page with my cousin picture. Talking about he killed this guy. I'm like, I didn't know he did that, and I really didn't associate that yet with what was going on here a little bit because it just popped up out of nowhere, and I ain't Google deaths or, you know, somebody getting shot or none of the sort. Like, why is this even here? You know? So, fast forward to some months later, which was probably like 6 months ago. My neighbor, 63-year-old white lady. She tells me, and she will always talk about this guy Shane. You know, my boyfriend Shane, he 30-some years old, and, you know, he's in and out of jail. He wants to hurt me. He says he wants to kill me and all this other stuff. And I'm like, okay. Well, and she always had the police out here when he come out, but I would never ever see him. I didn't know who he was. I didn't know the association with this Justin guy. I didn't know none of that. So she walking, it was a hot day, walk to the bus stop. And I'm like, where you going? Oh, I'm going to Dollar Tree and Walmart. I'm like, oh, well, I'm headed to, it was one of those places I was going to anyway. I think it was Walmart. I'm like, you could just roll with me. You know, thinking I'm helping the sister out. So she obliges. She hops in the car and goes in on this story about, you know, Shane, her guy's brother who got murdered by, she says, my cousin's name. And I said, oh. I didn't even acknowledge that this was my cousin until this past weekend when I was talking to her. I didn't acknowledge this shit at all. But I'm like, oh my God, this is why this fucking shit is going on. So I go skip trace, do my research. FB is great for investigating and making connections. This is my ex-boyfriend who I've been on and off with for the last 1.5 to 2 years. You know, his baby mama, they're sibling too. They're all siblings. They're all Connors. My baby. It's cold as heck, y'all. He never put this coat on. And I don't put an undershirt on him, but I've had threats. Like, I'm going to tell them, CPS, you don't put them undershirt on. So I put one on this morning. Because I dressed them how I know they're, and I need to quit letting people bother me, man. Impress me. Because I know my kids, man. And so that's why I wouldn't put an undershirt on. But he sent her with no coat on. His coat's all get out. I got a hoodie, coat, t-shirt. I don't know I'm here because my tent's super dark. He's so cute, y'all. I don't know who you thought we heard that. But where'd I leave out? Yeah, the comments. And so come to find out, then, she explained this story, and she also said that the Shane guy was in jail with my cousin. Because dude, he's a troublemaker too. And he always in jail, look like, in and out, unless somebody lying. But from what I seen, he always in and out of jail. When I just made my most recent report about the new leads I found out recently, they was like, oh, he in jail already. I'm like, well, they got people out here, and I keep being stalked by all of them, come to find out. People I have been stalked by and gang stalked by. And I know them by certain factors that I mentioned. I'm like, all these men are mentioned on this Justin Connor's obituary. Scott Minion and his siblings and sibling-in-law, and which I was talking to briefly. He was just not for me for several reasons. No, sir. Anywho, child. I just made all those connections, and we departed that day. And this past weekend, I said something to her, about the matter, and I admitted to her finally that this is my cousin. I feel like this is why all this is happening. Why everybody name around her Connor? The mailman, the lady over there who I ran into at the dollar store, and she kept asking me to go out with her all the way in St. Louis, or I'm like, I'm not gonna go nowhere with you after I done made such connections about folks with your last name. I don't know what y'all doing or trying to do to me. You crazy neck glue, sister soldier. And I found out her last name because she called my phone and her first and last name popped up. Katrina Connor. Mailman Connor. Thaddeus Connor. About not his fucking real name. And the lady here. Oh, I forgot to tell y'all. That day, I took her around and she first told me that. And I got home and did my own research. Later that evening when I came home, a burgundy truck was right here. A burgundy truck was right here, parked in front of my apartment building. Son, here I come, I'm recording. I'm almost done, 5 minutes. And the Shane guy pops out. And he tries to go in the building with me, which is a key entry. You need a key to get in there. Or somebody to let you in. I'm like, I'm not letting you in here. I know who you are. I just found out who you were. Nice try. Why haven't you showed up all this time in the almost 2 years I've been here? Yeah, so y'all know that's crazy. He suddenly pops up. I only heard his name and didn't know who he was associated with, about the murder, any of that. But when the moment she mentions him, that night, he pulls up trying to get in my building. And I recorded him. I know who you are. Camera all in his face. I know who you are. What you want? I'm here to see. No, I'm not letting you in. Call her, tell her to let you in. But she made it seem like she was just so scared of him. And he wanted to hurt her. You know what I'm saying? And he beats on her. I don't know how true that shit is. But y'all know that shit don't sound right. Come on now, stop playing. You ain't showed up all this time. But she only mentioned your name for over a year. I've been here going on 2 years and some months. But you just popped up after over a year and a half. The day your name was finally mentioned, and I made my little connections via the internet and social media. Part of my surveillance team. But I forgot to get out that tidbit. But fast forward to last weekend when I told her that I was saying something to the police that day, and I think it's all associated. She's like, well, leave me your phone number. I call her phone. She could have my number on her landline call ID. 20 minutes later, somebody playing on my phone, and it was a guy. Not even 20 minutes later. I'm like, I just gave her my number. Y'all don't even try to be smart about the fucking criminal ass shit. Anyhow, so today I seen her this morning for the first time. Not to mention, and I should have took a picture of her. My son had on some black and white checkered pajama pants. She had black and white checkered all kind of shit this morning. I ain't never seen her in the shit like that in my life. I told y'all they copycat us a lot. It's like one of the whole main things of their little production. So I'm like, and I think that's probably what triggered me to say something. Yeah, I went ahead and I told the police about what you told me and how I think that's so. She was like, oh well, Shane ain't got nothing to do with that. That's how she said. Shane ain't got nothing to do with that. And Albert's in jail. He's serving life. And I'm like, yeah. And I ain't got shit to do with that. My cousin's serving his time. And so that's over with. You got your justice. I ain't got shit to do with that. Didn't even know about it. So we gonna let the detectives sort that out. Oh, well, he ain't got nothing to do with it. I don't know. It looks grimy to me. It looks slimy and very suspicious given all the activities, all the shit that's been going on since I've been living here. So I said told them that and let the detectives sort that out and be the judge of all that. So she was like, oh, well, I hope he die in jail. Or something. We was both ranting, but I heard that's the last thing. I hope he die in jail. I'm like, don't say that to me. That's still my blood. I don't give a fuck if we this close or this close, sis. That's how I did her at. This close or this close. You're not going to tell me that. I said he's serving his time. What the fuck else you want? I acknowledged it was a bad thing he did. And then they both was doing some drugs, like some hard shit. So they both was living their life that he got fucking caught up in. Both of them got caught up in. So it's very senseless, and I don't understand this about people. What you out here trying to do? What you trying to get vengeance for with this distant ass relative? Me. This ain't even somebody I grew up with like that. Now I got some cousins you make it be like that about. But not him. But I'm still fucking loyal. I'll say right is right, what's wrong, and when it's wrong. But you're not going to tell me that. Don't tell me that. And you could feel like that. And I would even understand. But you don't tell me that. You better keep that shit up in here. In your knowledge. In your motherfucking brain. So that really got me hot because everybody know her to be nosy. Don't nobody in this motherfucker like her. She always calling the police and putting her nose in everybody's business. Like two sisters over there arguing. She gonna call the police. The guy her, she all in his business. He cussed out real bad. 60-some-year-old man. Talking about beating her ass and everything. I'm like, I stopped him. Don't talk to me. Don't talk to me about beating no lady ass. She an old lady. Regardless, move. She really good friends with the landlord, and I heard she aiding and getting people kicked out even. Because they, would get into it with her. She's been into it with everybody here. I just don't pay motherfuckers no mind. I pay them dust. So I don't trip off nothing. They came tell me stuff she said about me and everything. I'm like, what the fuck? She don't know me. What the fuck I got to care for? Bitch don't know me for real, for real. The hell am I taking it to heart for? And I tell my kids that. Motherfucker don't know you for real and they speaking on you. Don't let it make a home. Her and her. Because what the fuck they going off of? They just talking. They just bumping their lips. Because there's something wrong with their ass. So I don't give a fuck. All you motherfuckers miserable as fuck to me. That's why you pay me so much mind. Instead of living your own fucking life. You miserable. Who sit here and just, do dark ass shit all day? That shit wicked. That's between you and heaven, honey. Anyhow, I think that's all for right now. I ain't gonna say for today because I may remember something. May want to get on here and get to chatting. Like I said, it's been lots and lots of, shit going on. So, a lot of content over some years. So who knows? I might be back. I'm gonna get in the house with my children. see what's for dinner. I think they'll love to hear something about some shrimp being cooked, so I might cook them some shrimp or something. Who knows? Do people here switch my little dreadies up? I love doing my hair, but we're gonna put me on the back burner. Baby, it's tired. I is tired. I is important. I is tired. Y'all be well of yourselves. Be good. And if you can, honey, send a ram in the bush. Because these people here, this law enforcement here that's local, they're not doing nothing because they are also involved. I could tell you a few dirty ass cops involved. Guy they call Sachs, Allen in Centerville or Allerton. Guy named Pony, Demarius Thomas, I think. Dennis Harris, Orlandis Briggs. He out here. And I believe my sister's mother-in-law dude too. They don't know we be dating whole ass moles. Having babies with them and everything. Yeah, but I think a lot of people who my family think they're good with are playing both sides, and they'll also have a demise and under attack too. They just don't know it because people got them thinking that they're on the inside of things when they're really on the out. They're just making them think. That is just the theory. That I cannot say for sure. But stranger things. One more stranger thing. So when my dad died, his doctor, my father's doctor, his name is Charles Ampadu. His name keep popping up everywhere. And they bait me at these jobs. They definitely have a hand in where I work and live. They bait me for sure. But I just find it crazy that he snapped on me for some reason or another while my dad was in the hospital. I forget the content of what he said. But it was some shit I know wasn't the fuck my fault. The fuck I got a hand in cancer for. I ain't create cancer. I don't want my daddy gone. I wasn't ready for that. Hell, we just really got close in my adult years. I wasn't ready. Me and my dad had plans out here. What you mean? I'm out here hustling for us at the moment because I ain't had shit at the time either. It was just real bad. It was a real bad situation. But, yeah. His name keep popping up everywhere. I've worked at some healthcare facilities where I went through all this shit and they shot shit up in my body. I don't know why I let them do that. Supposedly a Pfizer, and I did 2 TB exams or TB tests. And I'm like, what if they not shooting the right shit in my body? Not to mention all my family, young and old, all of a sudden having bone issues. So I really think it's a corporate attack for real. But the Charles Ampadu person Saturday, I learned from this same white lady that she sued Ampadu. So I'm like, oh Lord, who else got a fucking Ampadu in their story, in their history? Something negatively. And his daughter, who's also a doctor, has gangstalking before. She has. So I really think it's something dealing with them as well. Because some of my dad's family, like I said, they're involved as well. My siblings included, So I don't know what they got him doing or if he is my family's op in total, but it has something to do with this Dr. Charles Ampadu out of East St. Louis, Illinois. It does. So I'm going to go on and try to get my life after work started. Y'all take care. Be good. Do the right thing, go in the right direction.